Let me get out of this.
The IT person came in here, but we told him we fixed it.
Okay. Did he leave or what?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you tell him you fixed it?
Mhm.
Okay. Good. Thank you. Okay, I'm looking to see if I've got everybody. Okay, so if you look, here it is. Everybody see that? No, that's it, right here. This is what the test looks like, so I want you to write it down so you don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about. It's going to be called Unit 2, Test B, Graphing, and it'll have 2019-20 beside it. I bet this is somebody going to Skype in and I done got everything fixed. Please don't be Skyping in. Yep, sure is. I bet that Miss Guerin. Yep. I tried to get her in a while ago, and it's going to mess up everything. Hold on. I got to call in Miss Guerin. I mean, she can't help it. Her computer went down. But every time I get everything situated, somebody calls in to Skype. And we all know that's a conspiracy. And whose fault is it? Russia. No, Bernie's gonna save all of us. Bernie's gonna save all of us. Y'all won't need a degree. Y'all won't need a diploma or a certificate. All y'all got to do is just get y'all a job, and he's gonna take care of y'all for the rest of your lives. So heck, we won't need to. I don't know why he's worried about free college. We won't need free college. We won't even need college. You just make $15, you know, what is it, $15 an hour the rest of your life. All right. So, Miss Guerin, you with us? I think you are. I hope she's with us. Miss Guerin, are you there? Miss Carolina, are you there?
Yes.
Okay. Miss Guerin, are you there? Text me, Miss Guerin, if you can hear me. She can't hear anything. All right, let me bring her in. I'll bring you back in. X out. Sorry about this. But I'm like Zaxby's. I take my time with every student. So if you have trouble, I'll take my time with you. Except for Pendleton. They hate me, so I'm not going to help them.
We don't hate you. You're
Hey,
shy.
No, not shy. Y'all ain't shy. Y'all just been conditioned. Those teachers up there at Pendleton are winged on a pickle. And they project that to the students, so therefore the students don't talk. Miss Guerin, are you there? Text me if you can hear me, because you said you couldn't hear me. Can you hear me now? Just text me. I know Miss Carolina can hear me, so it's still not working. Okay, that means there's something wrong with your computer, Miss Guerin, because everybody else is working okay. You might want to check your settings. Go down to your, I'm pointing here, I'm going to show you where to go. Look on my screen. Hopefully you can see my screen. Pull up your Skype, this right here, and go to the gear. And go to the audio and video, and the audio should be doing this. You might have to go up here and change the setting and make sure it's playing. Check on that first. Another thing is make sure you don't have earplugs wired in or something wired in to the jack on your, sometimes that has something to do with it. Let me see what it says. Also, one more thing. Miss Guerin, go down here and type in volume, VOL, and you can actually check the system volume, and it may be turned down. So that's something you might want to check also. Or you can go over here and make sure that this key, make sure this is not muted. And that's about all I know. So if not, you'll have to, if you can't fix it in the next few minutes, just, I guess you'll have to just watch the board or just watch the video. So I hope you can get it to work out, because I can't do anything but tell you what to check. So if you do get it turned on, let me know. Just holler out and say, yo, I got it. All right, let me go back to that's what the test is going to look like. We're probably going to be opening it up next week or this week,
Priority 1 message coming in.
because there's only just a few sections. I would suggest reboot. I don't know, she can't hear me. Reboot computer and text me when ready. There, try that. Okay, I'm gonna take her out and let her do her reboot, and she'll text me when. All right, so here is what we're going to go over. We're going to go over that handout. And I'm just going to pull it up through the email, so that way it'll be bigger and y'all can see it better. So let's go to 155, and the handouts are down at the beginning of the semester. Where's y'all's handouts? Hold on. Well, I'll just pull up handouts. There we go. 103, that's 103. Well, I don't know where 155 is. There it is. Syllabi handouts. And I don't know, I probably didn't put it in here. No, I didn't. I'm going to have to go back to the... All right, so go to your main menu, and it says 6.6 handouts. And I really can't do anything else except blow it up to this. And you're talking about the 3 methods of graphing. And I'm not going to go through that. I'm just going to go through the whiteboard so you'll see it better. So let me pull up the whiteboard. I'm all over the place today. I'm sorry. And new, and there we go. The first method of graphing by your handouts is the graphing using coordinates, ordered pair, or points. That's what the directions will say. It'll say graph.
Priority 1 message coming in. Secure channel.
Graph using coordinates, ordered pair, or points. So it's very important that you write that down, because that's what the directions will say. Now let me go ahead and say something else. If you graph on the test, and they tell you to graph a certain method, and you do not graph by that method, it will mark your problem wrong, even though your line is correct. Does everybody understand what I just said?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so make sure you understand what I just said, because you're going to get on your homework, you're going to do it your way, and you're going to get it wrong, and then you're going to come to me and say, well, I don't understand, the line is the same. You didn't do the right method. Now, a lot of people say, well, why does it make a difference? Well, the first and the third method are kind of interchangeable. You can use them. But the second method is to use when y is not by itself. So do you use a hammer to screw in a wood screw? No. You don't use a hammer to drive a screw into a board. You use a screwdriver. Okay? So there are certain things that you use when you should use them. Okay? Just because you're stubborn and don't want to use the different methods does not mean that you're correct. So when do you use method 1? You use method 1 when y is by itself, or it tells you to use this method, okay? When the directions tell you to use this method. So directions, and if you have one that's by itself, and the directions just say graph. Now I'm going to go over here and I'm going to put something in magenta, or red. I'm going to put it in red, and I'm going to put it over here in the corner. And this is true for 6.6. If directions just say graph, which method do you use? You can use any method. If the directions just say graph, it'll say graph, it'll say graph using any method. Or it'll say graph, method of your choice. Or it'll just say graph. If it says one of those three things, then you can use any method. If it tells you to use a method, then you better use that method, especially on the test. All right, so here we go. Y is equal to 2x plus 3. So the first thing you do is you draw a chart. And this is called, I call it the chart plot method. 90% of the time, now you should be following along with that handout. Be following along on your handout or your laptop, because I'm not going to write all this stuff down. Okay? 90% of the time, I'm going to choose -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. Now, the reason I choose 5 points, there's several reasons. 1, left and right of 0. That means you got positive and negative numbers. 2, you've got 0. That's the origin. 3, you've got small numbers, which keeps it what? Simple. 3, when you get into nonlinear functions, this is the only way you can graph. So you have to at least have 3 or more numbers. So you better get in the habit of doing 5 numbers. All of those conflict with LAD disorder, lazy disorder. The ones that suffer from lazy disorder, oh, I'm just going to do 2 points. Okay? Then don't cry when you get one of those points wrong, because if you get 1 of 2 points wrong, the whole problem is wrong. So then you plug and chug. Plug and chug. So 2 times parentheses plus 3, 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 2 times parentheses plus 3. And this is on your handout, so you won't have to write it if you have your handout. And that's a -2, a -1, 0, 1, and 2. -4 plus 3 is -1. -2 plus 3 is what? +1. 0 plus 3 is 3. 2 plus 3 is 5. And 4 plus 3 is what? 7. And now you plot those points. -2, -1. -2, -1. -1, +1. 0, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1 and 5. 3, 4, 5. And 2 and 7. 5, 6, 7. There's your line. That's method 1. Now what if I gave you another problem, and I'm going to erase the bottom part here. Hopefully everybody's got that. And again, if you have your handouts, or if you have a laptop with your handouts out, then you don't have to copy all this down for the one person that printed out their handouts. Okay? So I'm going to highlight, let's see if I can do this. I hadn't had any training, but I'm going to try it. There we go. Y'all are impressed, aren't you? There we go. Now I'm going to try nerd. Y is equal to 1/3 x minus 2. Well, a while ago, I told y'all that 90% of the time, I'm going to use -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. If you have your handouts in front of you, via the computer or the handout the one person printed out, what do I use the other 10% of the time? Multiples of denominator. What's my denominator? So instead of using -2, -1, 0, 1, and 3, I'm going to use -6, -3, 0, 3, and 6. 1/3 times parentheses minus 2. 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 -6 over 1. -3 over 1. 0. 3 over 1 and 6 over 1. What does that do? What does it do anytime you multiply with the common denominator? What does it do?
It cancels?
It cancels the fraction out. Thank you. Everybody should have been saying that at the same time, but that's okay. Y'all are what? Shy? Bring in a bottle of Jack Daniels. There will be nobody shy in this room. You know what's even worse than Jack Daniels? Tequila. Tequila make everybody jump on the tables. And nobody says a damn word. Oh well, I tried. Somebody usually has a tequila story to tell. That's why I was asking. That's why I said that. What?
I definitely don't want to tell you about it.
That's usually the way those tequila stories go. All right, so -6 divided by 3 is negative what? -2, Hubert. Thank you, class. -2 minus 2 is -4. What's -3 divided by 3? -1, Hubert. -1 minus 2 is -3. Let's see if y'all can do this one. What's 0 times 1/3?
0.
Hot dog, there we go. 0 minus 2 is -2. What's 3 divided by 3?
1.
All right, 1 with a yawn. 1 minus 2 is -1. And what's 6 divided by 3?
2.
2 minus 2 is 0. Take your handy-dandy Cartesian coordinate system. -6, -4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. -3, -3. 0, -2. Well, mine's a little bit off. And 3, -1, I'm way off. And 6 and 0 looks something like this. That's why you got to have graph paper. Hold on a second. I've had training. Watch this. Aren't y'all impressed? Tell you what, 2050, baby. Tri-County Tech's going to be leading the charge.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you turn to your handy-dandy handouts for the one person that ran theirs off, here, turn to your next page. I don't know how to turn on these. Do you go down, scroll down?
You just
Well, I was trying to with my mouse, and there we go. Look at what I did. I even gave you a sheet with all the denominators up to what, 12? Yeah. So if you have 1/5, use -10, -5, 0, 5, and 10. If you have 7, -14, -7, 0, 7, 14. What if you have a 4? 4, -8, -4, 0, 4, and 8. I'm sorry, but you should be able to do those. And that's how you use the first method. Now, what about the second method? There's the second method. It's called graph using intercepts. So I'm going to go to the handy-dandy whiteboard, and we're going to bring in the handy-dandy, and we're going to call this method 2. And the directions will say graph using the x and y intercept, or it'll say graph using the intercepts. So method 2. X and y intercepts, or it will say graph using the intercepts. One of those two, it's going to say something to that effect. When do you use this method? You use it when y is not by itself. Okay? On your handouts, you have an example. Sometimes I hit it right on the nail head, but sometimes 2x plus 3y is equal to 6. I don't know if that's what you have, but it may be something like it. It may be 2x plus 4y is equal to 8. Which one is it? Does anybody have their handouts?
It's 2x plus 4y equals 8.
Okay, let's do that. 2x plus 4y. Thank you for following along. I appreciate your communication too. 2x plus 4y is equal to 8. All right, what I tell students to do is draw a BA table. So I'm going to draw a BA table. And on this side, I'm going to put x for 0, and that's my y-intercept. And here, I'm going to put x 0 for y, which will be my x-intercept. Now, this is very, very, very important. So that means you need to get your highlighters out. Whenever you're trying to find, I don't care if you're in marketing, I don't care if you're in algebra, I don't care if you're in Business 101, Calculus 140, I don't care if you're in Physics 203. If you ever want to find the y-intercept, you plug in 0 for what? X, Hubert. Yes, that's right. And if you're in those same classes and you want to find the x-intercept, you plug in 0 for what?
Y.
Y. It's always the opposite, so you need to write that down in your notes, not just for this class, but for any class that has a graph in it. I don't care if it's a standardized test, I don't care if it's physics, marketing, economics, chemistry, biology, engineering, I don't care. If you have a graph and they are wanting to find the x-intercept, you plug in 0 for y. If you want to find the y-intercept, you plug in 0 for x. And now you just do it. I tell students to write the problem under and line it up. And you really don't have to work that hard. What do you do with that 0? You just plop it in right there. And you plop it in right there. There are some teachers that just teach you to cover up the term. There are some teachers that tell you to erase the term. It makes life a whole lot easier. I don't show that because I show people how to do it based on they suck at it. So I show you from the bottom of the barrel. And if you want to learn how to cover up the term or erase it, that's fine. But I'm showing you the bottom of the barrel. So what does that do? 2 times 0 plus 4y is equal to 8. What does the 2 times 0 do to the x term? Cancels it out. And some people say, well, heck, why don't you just cover it up? Or why don't you just erase it? Go ahead, that's fine. But understand why. Because you plugged in 0 for what? X. And that'll give us 4y is equal to 8. Y is equal to 2. And that 2 goes right there. 2x plus 4 times 0 is equal to 8. And I'm going to take my handy dandy red marker, and that y term cancels. And you're left with 2x is equal to 8, x is equal to 4, and that 4 goes right there. Now you have 2 points. Take your handy dandy straight edge. We're going to do this right. I got graph paper. Now, why do I write the word y-intercept and x-intercept over those coordinates? Does anybody want to tell me why I did that? A lot of people say, well, that's the method. No. Actually, you won't see this method in any book. This is the way I've done it when I was a student. So you're not going to see anybody put it in a table like I do, unless they're just, we think alike. Maybe. But why did I put x-intercept and y-intercept? There's a reason. Does anybody want to know what that reason is? Well, the reason is that I'll try to keep you from making the most common mistake students make on this problem. Can anybody guess what that mistake is? Anybody? Pendleton, Easley, Oconee? Anybody?
Trying to do them at the same time?
No, but that's a good guess. Anybody else got a good guess? The reason I put those words and I highlighted them is because the number one mistake that students make on this problem is not the plugging and chugging. They plot the wrong what? They plot the wrong point on the wrong line. That's why I put a word over the point. So I know that this point goes on what axis? The y-axis, and this point goes on what?
Yes.
The x-axis, because what you will do is you'll vice versa. You'll put the y-intercept on the x-axis and the x-intercept on the y-axis, and you'll get it 100% wrong. So I take my y-intercept, I know it's going on the y-axis. So the y-intercept is 0, 2. 1, 2.
Priority 1 message coming in.
And the x-intercept goes on the x-axis, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now what do we do with those points? We connect those points, Hubert. That's right, class. There we go. Now, you can pick a checkpoint. I'm going to pick 1. Can anybody tell me why I'm picking 1?
No.
No. Why am I picking 1? Why? Anybody Want to tell me why? KISS method. What's the KISS method? Keep it simple. Why am I picking 1? Because I've already used what? 0. What's the next easiest number to calculate? 1. So I'm going to plug in 1. X is equal to 1, and I'm going to find y. So x is equal to 1. 2 times 1 plus 4y is equal to 8. 4y is equal to what? 6? And y is equal to 3/2. So if I plot 1 and 3/2, I should hit my what? My line. 1 and 1.5. I'm going to do this in green. 1 and 1.5. Did I hit my point? Did I hit my line? Yes, I did. That's how you use a checkpoint. And that's how you do method 2. Now again, should all this be reviewed? Yes, this should all be reviewed. But the problem is that in your high school or your previous class, there's usually a teacher and they don't like the 2 methods, so they teach you just 1 method. Or you, as a student, decide to just use 1 method. And that's not the way to do this. You're supposed to learn all 3 methods. Just like you don't learn how to use 1 tool in a toolbox. You learn how to use all of them. Okay, method 3. Method 3 is building a line. That's what I call it. Method 3, building a line.
In on secure channel.
Building a line. Now, of course, they're not going to call it building a line in the directions. They're going to say graph using the point, sorry. I'm thinking and talking and writing at the same time. And you know guys can't do 2 or 3 things at one time. Graph using the y-intercept and slope, or interchanged. Graph using the slope and y-intercept. Now make sure you write that down because that's what it's going to ask. When do you use this method? Well, a lot of people use it when y is by itself. And a lot of people use it when you have a fraction as a slope, fraction slope. Now you can use method 1 also, but that's just up to your personal preference. But if the directions say these 2 things right here, then you have to use this method. Now the good part about this method is there's not much math. The first thing you're going to do, somebody give me the example I used for this one.
It's y equals 3x plus 6.
Is that what you said, 3x plus 6? Yeah. Okay. All right, so what am I going to do? I'm going to extract info. I'm going to extract. Y'all have all heard of extracting a tooth, right? Mm-hmm. What's extract the tooth mean? Pull out, right? So if you're going to extract info, you're going to pull out the info. What are you going to pull out? Well, this. I'm trying to hurry. I know some of y'all are going to like self-combust in a few minutes, but it'll be all right. There's the 3 sources of information you're going to pull out. 1, you're going to pull out the y-intercept. The y-intercept is always going to be 0 because I just told you when you want to find the y-intercept, what is x? 0. And b, which is 6. That's the first thing you're going to do. The second thing you're going to do is you're going to pull out the direction of the slope. 2. Direction of slope. It's either going to be left to right uphill or left to right what? Downhill. Negative, positive is going to be left to right up. Negative is going to be left to right down. In this case, there's nothing in front of the 3, so therefore it's assumed to be what? Positive, Hubert. And then 3, vertical over horizontal. Vertical over horizontal, which is equal to 3 over 1. And that is the Verde. Sometimes it'll be a fraction, sometimes it's a whole number. If it's a whole number, you just put it over 1. If it's a fraction, then you already have vertical over horizontal. Draw your handy-dandy graph. I'm trying to get there. Plot your y-intercept. My y-intercept is 6. So I take my handy-dandy blue marker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I plot that blue mark right there. My slope, I'm going to do it in a yellow line. It's a real light yellow line. That's called my trace line. And it's going left to right what? Up. Now it doesn't have to go through the point. It doesn't have to be that 45-degree angle. It can be at a 30-degree angle. All you're doing is using it as a guide. And now, 3 down, 1 over. 3 up, 1 over. Whatever you want to say. Vertical is not positive or negative. And 1 horizontal is not positive or negative. But you follow the trace line. So, I'm going to turn my point green. 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 1. And once you do 4 or 5 points, then you draw your line. And that's how you do the intercept, the building a line method. There it is. And once you draw your line, you can erase the what? You can erase the trace line. There you go. That's how you do method 3. So, we will finish 6.6 Wednesday and go over the property of graphing. And then Friday, y'all will send me questions on 6.6 homework. Comprende?
Yes, sir.
All right. Y'all have a good day, and I'll see y'all Wednesday.